The other day, I found an old notebook, and as I was thumbing through it, I found my ideal day. Have you ever done that exercise? Write down all the things you want in your ideal day. And I've been told from many mentors, many coaches to really visualize what would that ideal day be. And sometimes it felt really hard to do, and other times it seemed to just flow right out of me. But I haven't done it in a while. And as I thumbed through this notebook, I paused and I reread my ideal day. And it struck me, oh my gosh, so many of these things are actually happening. It felt so far off when I would write my ideal day. I felt like I would never accomplish them, would never achieve this ideal day. And there were many elements of this ideal day that I have right now. I'm Lindsay of Lindsay Heiserman Coaching, and today I'm going to help you with an activity that can take you from the life that you have a little bit closer to creating the life you like and maybe even love. And isn't that what we all want? A life that we truly love. Now, this ideal day, I'm going to tell you a few pieces of it in a bit, but it wasn't always like that. I worked at a corporate gym for 9 years, and a lot of the time I loved it. A lot of the time I loved my work with clients. I loved the work that I did. I loved the relationships that I built. And I also really disliked a lot of it. My life felt out of balance. My life felt like it wasn't really my life, like I was living in someone else's body. I would teach class, group personal training at 6 a.m. and I would get out of bed at 5:25. I would rush down, hope that I had time to make coffee, like hurry up coffee, throw it in my to-go mug, speed across town. I had a 15 to 20-minute commute, and then basically sprint from my car to the gym. And at 5:59, I would dump my stuff in the office and I'd be ready to go. And from that moment, it just felt like the entire day was full steam ahead. No breaks, no rest, no time to think, no time for me. And this talk is not at all about quitting your job or starting your business, although those are things you could do. I believe, and I think you will too, that you can have an ideal day any way that you want. And an ideal day, I don't believe, is full of private jets and yachts and all those fancy things you see on the internet of people living their best life. Truly, an ideal day is full of good emotions, good people, good relationships, and a fulfilling purpose. I hope you agree. So let's get started. And I do want you to think about your ideal day a little bit. If you're driving, don't worry, you can do this when you get home. You can write it out. But if you are somewhere where you've got pen, paper, your phone, let's take some notes. And we're not going to spend a ton of time here because we have a lot to get to. But what are some elements of your ideal day? And I'm going to pause for a moment. I want you to think about that. I want you to write a few things down, and then I'll share a few of mine. What elements are in your ideal day? And if I was doing the full version of ideal day, I would have you dreaming about, where are you? What do you smell? What do you see? Who are you with? What surrounds you? What kind of activities are you doing? Okay, do you have a few? I want to share a couple of mine. So when I reread my ideal day, I was shocked. One of the very first things that was on there was sitting in a screened porch, listening to the birds and the fall. Fall is my favorite season. Drinking my coffee casually without having to rush off. I do that. I don't have the screened in porch, ... yet. I still live in the same home, but I don't rush out of the house at 5:25 with my coffee in a to-go mug, sprinting across town. Almost all of my days, I take that back. All of my days, I get my coffee and I sit down. Sometimes I go outside, sometimes I don't. And I sit with it for even a minute or two. That's part of my ideal day. And that part is already true. Another component of my ideal day that I sort of chuckled at was the fact that I want to be able to walk the dogs during the day. I could never do that, right? I would go to work at 5:30, I would leave and I'd get home at 3:30. Couldn't walk the dogs in the middle of the day, couldn't give them extra time or attention. Now I go on a walk at 10 or 11 or 1, depending on the day. Another component of my ideal day that is actually true. And then I really laughed at this next one because it was have a lunchtime workout in the garage gym. I don't have a garage gym, but I do have a quarantine gym. I used to say I could only work out at the gym, but turns out, thanks to quarantine, I now have a spin bike in the living room, a barbell that I take from the garage to the living room. But the point is, it doesn't look exactly like my ideal day activity where I have a garage gym. But today I can come downstairs and I can work out in my living room. It's not the same, but it's pretty darn close. Another couple of things I want to share with you from my ideal day that are actually true are I want, and I wanted, and I am right now doing speaking. So for a long time, one of the first things on my ideal day for professional was to be speaking, to be leading workshops, to be educating, and going from the bulk of my work being personal training and in person. My ideal day exercise that I found in that notebook had me doing less personal training and more speaking and coaching. That part is happening too. I have transitioned part of my business from personal training to business and life coaching of other fitness and wellness professionals. And I'm doing more speaking. It's just remarkable. So many of these components are coming true. And I didn't even realize it until I went back and I looked at this ideal day that I had written out many, many times. I even found an audio on my phone where I had recorded it so that I could listen to it on walks or different times of the day. I also wanted to relax and watch TV at the end of the night, which sounds funny, but TV was never really part of my day either. And well, again, thanks to the great pause that some of us had with quarantine, I had a little more time, found some joy in watching some TV, and now that has rolled over. Parts of my ideal day that I do not have. I don't have that beautiful screened in porch, that house that I desire. I don't have those things yet. I don't have this big travel budget, which I didn't put in and share with you. That's part of what I want to do. And there are many other components about relationships and family dynamics and things that were in this ideal day, but those are some pieces that were already true. So I want you to look at your ideal day or the components that you wrote down today. Are any of them already true? You might be closer than you think. So let's get to an activity. And this is what I want you to remember, that you can come back to not only this ideal day activity, but this next thing that we're going to do. When you feel like you're a little stuck or you want to just turn your energy around a little bit, right? Like you're like, oh, I'm feeling kind of stagnant. I want you to turn to this activity. And also, this is not about changing your job. Like I mentioned before, I did go from working at a gym to having my own business. And a lot of these ideal day things have come because of that transition. It's not required, right? Your ideal day can very much be a part of working at a job where it's really powerful to you, right? So don't think that that's an automatic jump you have to make. That's not part of it. So we're going to do the be, do, and have exercise. Maybe you've done this. Maybe you've even done this with clients, but I want you to take a step back and do it again here with me. I have a little bit of a twist on it that I think you'll really appreciate that will sort of tie in that ideal day. So we're going from how do I want my ideal day to go? What components do I want in there? Because you're the creator of your life, right? You are. And this next activity with the be, do, have, it's not about controlling anyone else. It's not about saying, I want my family to do this. I want my partner to do this. I want my kids to do this. This is about you. You create your reality, right? You create who you are presenting to the world. That's all you. Okay. So with the be, do, have, if you're driving, just think about it. If you are sitting down, let's write it out. You need 3 columns on your piece of paper: be, do, and have. So under the be category, the question is, who do you want to be? And sometimes people will look at me like, I don't know who I want to be. What are the first 3 to 5 things that come to mind? Who do you want to be? I'll share a couple of mine. I want to be a speaker. I want to be a coach. So these are some of my professional ones. I want to be strong, physically strong, right? I want to be strong. I want to be athletic. I want to be generous. I want to be present. I want to be committed. I want to be feeling in purpose. So you can see you can take a variety of ways and a variety of meanings here of who do you want to be? So I want you to write down the first 5 that come to mind. And the thing is, don't judge any of these things. That's the catch. You can't judge your own thoughts, your own desires, your own wishes. We're not here for that. We're not here for judgment. Don't judge them. Write them down. Who do you want to be? All right, next up, what do you want to do? And this one's really exciting. Like, what do you actually want to do in your life, right? Well, some people struggle here, which I find interesting, because what do you just want to do? Sometimes that feels easier for me. Like, I could rattle off what I want to do faster than I can rattle off who I want to be. But what do you want to do? So I did kind of cheat a little bit. I want to do speaking. I want to do coaching. So I sort of stole from my B category. You can do that too. I also very specifically want to do 10 pull-ups in a row. I'm still working on that one. What about you? Anyone else? I want to do 10 pull-ups. I want to do obstacle course racing. That's my side passion. Besides my work, when I'm not working, I'm probably training for or racing obstacle course racing. What do you want to do? I want to travel. That is a big do, right? I want to have fun, get creative. What are some things you want to do with your life? Do you want to travel to all 7 continents? Do you want to, what do you want to do? This one excites me. What do you want to do? All right. Do you have some written down or thought of? Again, if you're driving, don't write these down. And the last category, what do you want to have? This is where people's judgments come into play. They start really judging themselves and they think, well, I can't have this or I can't have that. I want you to not judge. Promise me you will not judge yourself for what you're going to write down. Okay. Sky's the limit. I want to have a teal Jeep Wrangler. I've wanted a Jeep Wrangler for most of my life, but I have now decided I want it to be teal, my favorite color. I want to have a beautiful home. And I have that description in my ideal day. I know what it looks like, but for the purpose right now, I'm going to say home. I also want to have a travel budget, like a big travel budget. What about you? What else do you want to have? I also want to have meaningful relationships. I want to have a passionate purpose. I want to always have dogs. I want to have a really comfortable bed. I mean, really, you can write down anything. We're thinking about what do you want to be, do, and have. The components of an ideal day. And this is just you. Remember, you cannot control anyone else. You can control you. Right? You can control you, and you can choose to cultivate and create the life that you want to have by working on yourself and then showing up as you want to. All right, now here's the fun part. I want you to go back through. That was like basics of be, do, have, right? You can come back to that at any time. And in fact, you can come back to be, do, have with a certain focus, right? You could do it fitness focused. Who do I want to be with a fitness mindset? What do I want to do? What do I want to have, right? You could do this solely on work. You could do it for relationships. So you could really bucket it down to almost anything and go through be, do, have. But now we're going to take this a step further and you're going to create a sentence. So you're going to take a be, a do, and a have. You're going to create an I am statement. So here we go. I am a speaker who can do 10 pull-ups and drives a teal Jeep. I think that sounds pretty great. I love that phrase. I love that I am statement. And if you struggle with I am statements, it's probably because they're not close enough to you and they feel a little woo-woo. Let's bring it into the reality. Can I have those things? Yes, I can create that I am statement, right? So take 3, a be, a do, and a have. Create an I am statement. What does yours say? I'll give you another one of mine. I am a coach who bakes cookies and has a huge travel budget. That sounds pretty great too. I got to look at my notes. What else am I? I am a present person or present partner or present mom if you have kids, or present sister. You know, you could pick a relationship. I'm a present person who is a business coach and who has a beautiful house. That sounds great too. So how are you combining your be, do, have into an I am statement that you can trace back to your ideal day? So see how we're kind of combining all of these things together, because doing them sort of one at a time or piece by piece doesn't give you the full picture. Doing your ideal day is great, gets your brain going, but how does it actually look in real time? How does it look today? Are you executing on some of these pieces already? Chances are that you are. So we know as fitness, wellness professionals that we need to have some action items, right? It's one thing to think about it. It's one thing to wish for it. It's one thing to hope for it. It's one thing to dream for it. But I know when you work with clients, you don't just tell them, okay, that's great that that's your goal, but that's where we're going to stop. Just right there. We're not going to take it any further. You don't need to have an action plan for the week. You don't need to do anything else. No, you don't have that. You help your clients create reasonable action plans. That's what we're going to do here. So take one of your I am statements. And again, you need 3 categories. Okay. So the ones I'm going to take are the first one. I am a speaker. So that's my be, who can do 10 pull-ups. That's my do, and has a teal Jeep Wrangler. All right, now this is pretty exciting. So I'm like, oh, what if I drove my Jeep Wrangler to a speaking engagement and I knew that I could do 10 pull-ups? I'm like physically strong. I know I can do that. Or I even did that this morning in my workout before I drove my Jeep to my speaking engagement, right? This is exciting. This is a much better I am statement for me than I am strong. Again, good, but doesn't really hit me, right? And having that tie back to my ideal day, that makes it stick. So under each one, be, do, have, speaker, do 10 pull-ups, have Jeep. I need 3 action items. Like, what is going to move me from my reality today into closer to fulfilling this I am statement, closer to my ideal day? So under speaker, I'm doing a lot of things, right? Here I am speaking with you. I also was in Wifa Speaker Academy. I've updated my website. I'm applying to speaking engagements. Those are action steps that I can do every day that will bring me closer to that. Now, I've also had speaker on my be, do, have list in my ideal day for 10 years, my whole life, all the things. It keeps coming back. So that's the value also in doing this repeatedly. What comes back to you? What never leaves you? And so these action steps are things that I've worked on over time, and now they're ramping up because I have seen that speaker does not leave my ideal day. It shows up almost as number 1 on my B category almost every time. So I'm in the academy, I'm applying for speaking engagements, and I'm speaking here with you. Those seem to be 3 really great action items. The 2 under my do, 10 pull-ups. Now that's aggressive. I might want to say 5, but I am going to go with that optimistic view that someday I'll do 10. Now, I am not going to go from 0 pull-ups to 10. I know that. I definitely know that as a fitness professional, but I really know that just as my own person. But what I am doing and what I have done for years, because again, I've wanted being the operative word, to do pull-ups for years, strength training. I also go bouldering and climbing, and I go to my ninja gym, and these things are making me stronger. I also hang from my quarantine ninja rig on the ceiling, pull-up bar, and I practice. I do the things that I know will get me there. So strength training, bouldering, climbing, hanging, all action steps that I can take to move me closer to being able to do 10 pull-ups. All right, so I'm a speaker and I do my pull-ups, but I'm still missing my teal Jeep, the thing that I have, right? Honestly, I'm not just going to go out and get a teal Jeep today. That's not my reality. But my reality is paying off some debt, saving money, and putting a date on when to go get that teal Jeep. Like what steps, how much debt to pay off? X amount. No, I'm not going to share that with you. Pay off debt, save money, and add a date. Now this becomes more reality. Now I'm more excited because also, as I work on my strength and as I work on being a speaker, potentially more speaking engagements paid, more debt payoff, more money towards that Jeep. It all gets me more excited than an I am statement of I am strong. Does this help connect for you a little bit more? And can you see the ties back to your ideal day? That workout in the middle of the day from my ideal day includes hanging from the bar in my ceiling. That's part of my 10 pull-ups. So you can do this anytime. You can record yourself audio speaking your ideal day, get as detailed as you possibly can. So spend some time and really think about what it is that you want. Because if you remember anything from this, I want you to remember that you can create the person you are and the life you want to have. So like the title says, can you create a life that you like and maybe even love? So if you're sitting in that gym job like I was in the beginning, and you're looking around going, I don't like any of this. I feel like my strengths aren't being utilized. I feel like I'm not fulfilled. I feel like I'm not getting anywhere on my I am statement. I'm not doing anything I want to do. I'm not being the person I want to be. Take a deep breath and say, how can I get closer? And the reality is, we think that we'll jump from one to the next, but we won't. We're not going to jump from where we are today to that ideal day by tomorrow. So accept that reality and then get excited about how you're going to get there. So it was such a fun activity for me to reread my ideal day and for it to dawn on me that I'm so much closer than I ever thought. And now I have extra energy to put into my be, do, and have, so that I can really get closer to that life that I truly love. I'm Lindsay Heiserman of Lindsay Heiserman Coaching. Thank you so much for doing this activity with me. I would love to connect with you and support you on your mission to your ideal day. And then share with me, what was on your be, do, have, and what is your I am statement? And if you forget, don't forget mine. I am a speaker who can do 10 pull-ups and drives a teal Jeep Wrangler. Thank you so much.